What's up, guys? Today we're going to take a look at this profession preview for Dragonflight that Blizzard just posted. So we'll just go through it live, or live-ish. So, crafting orders. This seems to not really add any specific new information that we didn't already know with the expansion reveal. You can craft soulbound items if they include soulbound reagents. They can include optional reagents when they add the crafting order. And once you finished crafting, you'll get a commission. You'll pay a small posting fee, or you'll pay a posting fee for posting the thing. So it's very important for you to get someone to actually craft it. And then crafters come in, can fill in any missing reagents, craft the item, and collect the commission. So this is a little bit interesting. Fill in any missing reagents. If I'm filling in missing reagents, then obviously you'd have to pay a higher commission. I think the meta will probably be to just have all of the reagents there and just pay the commission. Unless there's soulbound items that only the crafter can have, which might be, because there's a lot of soulbound reagents apparently. And you can use this to increase your skill and craft for people. I don't see how you can do this for a specific individual. You can give a crafting order for a specific individual. I think this ties into something that comes a little bit lower in the post around the crafting quality, where they're trying to make a meta around, like, there's just a few crafters who can maybe make the highest item level item, and you want to target those because you know that they have the crafting skill. So that could definitely be a thing, at least early on, when you're the first one to be able to have a chance. You have the stats, the crafting skill to actually craft a max quality. There might be a meta around putting crafting orders up for specific individuals. For more mass-produced stuff, it will probably be available for everyone, but it'll be very interesting to see. Could definitely be the case of just like, okay, I know that Lacey is the best armor crafter on this realm, so I have to put the order out to him because he's the only one who can get this at the max item level. We'll see. Profession specializations. This is cool. This is good. Interesting. You can specialize in your primary crafting and gathering professions. Once you reach the high enough skill, you learn specialization points, and you spend them to permanently improve different areas of your profession. So this sounds like a talent tree, skill tree like construct for professions. We'll have to wait and see how it looks. But this will be interesting to look at how you want to min-max this. I'm assuming it can be based on different item slots, so increasing your quality for armor, head pieces, legs, etc. For blacksmithing, for instance, and then probably maybe something with materials. We'll see. Now, this is the big one to me, crafting with quality. 5 levels of quality, and gathered items and potions will have 3 levels of quality. So that's interesting by itself. And this is the big one. For crafted equipment, quality, higher quality means higher item level. So tier 5 quality, this is like the holy grail. This will be, comes a little bit down in the post, but this can be as high as mythic grade item level. But it will also require some BOP materials from the mythic raid, but this is pretty cool. So being able to craft tier 5 quality gear will be very, very profitable. It's very interesting to see how hard it is to actually craft this, because we don't really know. So what they're also saying is that for most, the higher quality will result in a more powerful effect for consumables. But they also say that they want the high quality stuff will be higher item level, but the difference isn't going to be huge. So as you see here, the example here is a 10 item level difference between the lowest possible quality and the highest possible quality, which would make the lowest possible quality a very good catch-up gear level that a lot of players might want on their alts, for instance. It'll be interesting to see how this plays out for alchemy consumables as well, where you can also get longer duration, more charges, etc., which is going to be an economic min-max. Like, what's the most duration or most useful duration per crafting input? This will definitely be a lot of work for TSM to implement, that's for sure. For reagents that have quality, the quality value will serve as a major input into crafting. So using higher quality basic reagents will provide a bonus skill when crafting. That's what determines if you get a higher quality item or not. And then there's a finishing reagent. This seems very similar to New World, for those who played that, where you could add different reagents that gave a higher chance for a specific thing. And that can improve aspects of the crafting. So here you can see that this increases inspiration, which gives you a higher chance to proc a higher skill or higher quality item. And the crafting speed, for instance. So this is interesting. You can see this exists in different qualities as well. Higher quality, inspiration 15, crafting speed by 25. Not all craft gathered reagents will have quality. It's just the mining, skinning, herbalism. Everything else is just whatever, or reagents crafted by the primary profession. So it looks like we're crafting cloth bolts and metal alloys, ingots again. That's annoying, but there is a little bit of a a little bit of a nugget further down. They are adding crafting speed back into the game, so you can increase your speed. So for someone who's just cranking out cloth bolts and metal alloys, you can at least get crafting speed stat to speed it up a little bit. So yeah, determining quality, the crafting process. The recipe difficulty will determine how hard it is to craft the recipe at a higher quality. And so recipe difficulty is some kind of stat for the recipe, which you can increase apparently by including optional reagents, up or down. So here you get guaranteed critical strike and haste, but that increases the recipe difficulty. That's interesting. Gonna make it harder to craft the recipe to guarantee the right stats. So that means you would need more crafting skill to get a higher quality crit haste. Will be interesting to see how this plays out. And whether these missives are crafted by players as well. It looks like we can have a very, very involved economy this time around. So then we have crafting skill. How is that determined? So that's determined by your base skill in profession, obviously. And it can be modified by the quality of reagents, finishing reagents, profession gear you're wearing, various bonuses provided by consumables, and most significantly, your profession specialization. And you can see here what quality we're expected to craft this item at. So this spurred war boots of the dragon. Right now you are expected to craft this somewhere between, this will be about 60% of the time this will be quality 4, and then presumably this means that 40% of the time you'll actually make it to quality 5. So it's a guaranteed quality 5, it'll be quality 4 or 5. Because they're adding a little bit of randomness as well, as they say below here. As you craft your item, there's a small amount of randomness added to your skill roll to represent the natural variation in your crafting execution. And then there's inspiration, one of the crafting stats, which has a chance to make you become inspired, which will gain you a significant amount of bonus skill during the craft. So you can roll the dice. Now, here are the crafting stats. This is going to be important. There's 4 of them. Inspiration, you have a chance to be chance to be inspired, crafting the recipe with extra skill. This is rolling the dice to get bonus quality. It's possible that this is worth it. It depends on the percentage chance to be inspired and whether or not that actually gets you a higher quality that's worth it, and how valuable or not valuable the lower quality items are. There's a lot of factors that go into this. Say if there's a 20% chance of crafting a tier 5 and that sells for double the quality 4 items, and the quality 4 items are profitable relative to the materials, then inspiration would be really, really good. In a situation where the quality 4 item is not selling for more than the materials, so you need to craft a quality 5 to make money at all, then inspiration would be absolutely useless. Resourcefulness, you have a % chance to use fewer tradable reagents, such as ore. So this is good for anything where you mass craft. This would be really good. Just save money. You can just remove X% from the percentage chance of using fewer reagents, and just modify your crafting cost down. That would just be great. Multi-craft, a percentage chance to craft additional items, only works for stackable items. You can do this for intermediate materials, for potions, for flasks, obviously. This is gonna be good. Potentially, it's gonna be a question of like this resourcefulness and multi-craft is essentially the same thing. The question is just, do you use fewer resources or do you get more items for the same resources? These two will be very easy to math out which one is the best. And presumably, unless there's diminishing returns, one of these is likely to dominate the other one, and you would want to only stack one of these. Or rather, for anything that's stackable, you might want to prefer multi-craft. For someone who's crafting armor, then resourcefulness is better, because multi-craft doesn't help you at all. Crafting speed, yes, this is going to be good, particularly for someone who has a character who's just churning out huge amounts of ingots or cloth bolts or whatever. Maybe having multi-craft plus crafting speed for that to just like crank out the maximum number of bolts and ingots in the shortest possible amount of time. That's what this combination of stats would give you. We don't really know, like, is it going to be 2 stats per item? How is this going to work in terms of gearing for your profession gear? That'll be interesting to see. I think if there's 2 stats per item, you're probably going to end up in situations where you want to just max 2 stats and ignore the others. I think inspiration is either going to be like, okay, you want to max this on all of your gear crafters, or it's going to be completely useless. I think, based on looking at this, I think inspiration resourcefulness, this is going to be probably the way to go on armor crafters, unless inspiration is useless, because lower quality items are actually turn out useless. And this is best for armor crafters. For someone who's just cracking out huge amounts of intermediate materials, so say the character you had crafting enchanted materials in Shadowlands, then multi-craft crafting speed will give you most likely the most items per time spent, which is important because, man, the amount of time I needed to craft those ingots and stuff in Shadowlands was through the roof, so cutting down on the time as much as possible is probably more worth it to me than cutting down the price. If you want to craft the absolute in competitive markets, like, say, potions, which are selling into the pool of every realm in the game, then you probably have to go resourcefulness multi-craft to get the absolute cheapest potions possible. But we'll see. That's my initial thoughts. I think this is cool. Inspiration is the one I'm most concerned about, because it seems to be just like potential noob trap. So then we have quality, the philosophy of quality. This is something obviously I'm very keen on hearing. What's their thoughts behind this? And here's the thing. So when you get the recipe, you'll be crafting them at the lowest quality. They're not meant to be difficult, and you gain higher skill, you can make them better, essentially. So that's the idea. Now, on the other hand, for high-end items, particularly gear with powerful optional reagents and top-tier consumables, will be extremely difficult to craft at the highest quality. The goal in this situation is that only the best of the best can make them at the highest quality, and only by using every tool at your disposal. So what they're saying here is that this will take a lot of effort from multiple people, because you will need to have highest max quality crafting reagents from every profession you use reagents from. So there's what their example for crafting an item level equivalent to that of mythic raids. Fully specialize in crafting that type of gear. Use all top quality reagents, both required and optional, all of which would require extremely skilled gatherers and crafters to make. Use the best profession gear you can find, which would also likely require highly specialized crafters to make. On top of that, you would either need to get lucky with inspiration or use a valuable finishing reagents that boost skill to guarantee the item is crafted at top quality. So these finishing reagents are going to be important. It will take the contribution of many skilled crafters and gatherers, as well as some luck or extra resources to make these items at the highest quality. So they're saying that it will require a lot of effort to make a highest quality item. They even mention in the next paragraph, this is something that a large guild could coordinate to do on their own. And we hope that this means that crafting the very highest quality items turn out to be very lucrative. But then in the next sentence, they contradict themselves because they say that the goal is not to have high-end gear cost anything remotely approaching the costs of top legendaries in Shadowlands. But if they want to reach these goals of making like it actually only available to the best of the best, and take the effort of many skilled gatherers and crafters to craft all the reagents, and this would be something that a large guild would coordinate on their own and work together as a team, then how on earth is this not going to be expensive? I don't understand. I don't understand at all. And even though they say that the specialization will come through play and not spending gold, if it takes a significant amount of effort to get the profession skill and to get the specialization for that type of gear, then that means that the number of crafters is going to be astronomically small at the beginning, and they will be able to charge any price they want. So I think that this is very hard for them to succeed with, to make this not expensive with their other stated goals. So either it's gonna be easier than they want to get a fully qualified gear, or get crafting for that. Maybe they underestimate the level of effort people are willing to put into professions. I don't know. But you can't have an item that requires a significant amount of effort from multiple players and then have it not be expensive. And even if you're talking the final patch of Shadowlands, for instance, rank 7 legendaries were not actually that expensive compared to the early patches. So yeah, it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting. And then, of course, they say that lower quality items will just be slightly less powerful, in contrast to the tiers of legendaries, so just a small item level gap. We'll have to see exactly how this rolls out when alpha beta rolls around. And you can get your lower quality equipment recrafted to a higher tier for minimal reagents, apparently. So this will make the lower quality items more useful early on, when people don't have high quality. But with their philosophy here, I think there's zero chance that max quality mythic grade items are going to be cheap early on. They will probably be very expensive, and if you can get access to crafting them, you'll be making gold. Profession skilling philosophy. This is interesting. So the main thing here is that once you're halfway leveled with Dragonflight professions, you can learn all the recipes. And then for the rest, to get the rest of the skill points which you need to craft higher quality items, you'll be getting that by just crafting the recipes, filling crafting orders, etc, etc, etc. So that's interesting. It means it doesn't really change anything for gold making. You still need to power level as quickly as possible, because with profession skill now unlocking, it doesn't unlock the base recipe, but the base recipe is not what's economically significant in Dragonflight. What's going to be economically significant is being able to craft high quality versions of the base recipes, which means that you need to max out your profession skill and keep working on your profession specializations as much as possible, essentially. And then the next part, powerful crafted items. You can have up to 5 crafted items that can be mythic item level, which is really, really, really cool. This includes weapons, 200 weapons counting as 2. We're finally getting weapon crafting back. So blacksmiths, rise up. You're going to be making bank in Dragonflight, more likely. They start to normal raids, increasing with quality, and through an optional reagents, they can be brought up to heroic and mythic raid item levels. They're soulbound, so you need to do them with a crafting order, and yeah. So this is cool. You'll need soulbound reagents, of course. You'll need to earn to craft it and improve it further. This will come from the actual challenge themselves, like you'll have to get something from Mythic Raid or M+. That you will need to craft the item. And you can also use this to construct an optional reagent to bring this equipment up to around heroic raid item level. There's a second type of reagent that comes from a series of quests that award you enough to craft one piece of equipment. Additional stages of these quests will become available to everyone every few weeks. I'm not sure if this is what the guy who wants the item needs or the crafter. Presumably the guy who wants the item. And to get it to Mythic raid item level, you will need a reagent that can only be obtained in Mythic raid, high level M+, or highly rated PvP. That's fine. So I like this. Just professions be a meaningful source of high-end gear. I've been asking for this forever. This has been on my wish list for a long time. I'm really happy about this returning. And I think the crafting order system is a great way for them to do it, because that means that the crafters don't have to go farm the soulbound reagents, which was a real weakness with how they did it in the past. Now the end user has to farm the soulbound reagents, and they finally found a way to make that work. So that's really good. That's really good. And likely we'll have to farm all of the soulbound reagents yourself to get someone else to craft it for you, because crafters won't have enough of these, because it sounds like some of these at least are time gated. So I can't farm them for you. You'll have to farm them yourself, put them up on the crafting order, and I'll have to craft them for you. So it sounds like a lot of this, most of this money will be made through crafting orders for this gear. The last thing they talked about is something called Phials, which is a new type of flask. They have half the requirements, and they last half as long, and they have unique effects. So this is pretty cool. I like this one. Remaining stationary will increase your intellect up to 240 over 5 seconds. The moment you start moving, you end the effect, but you gain speed instead. So this is pretty cool for M+ for casters, for instance. Stand still and cast, at least if you can actually turret for 5 seconds. And then you get speed when you start moving. This is pretty cool. Not sure if this is going to be better or worse than the others. And then you have this. If you're far away from allies, you can get intellect. So this can be really good in some situations, some fights, some dungeons. But yeah, this is really cool. Finally adding a little bit of variance or some cool stuff to the flask system. Flask system has been kind of boring for a while. I think Phials look really cool. They probably have some other ideas as well. This will allow you to fine-tune, particularly for M+, and for raid bosses. You can now like fine-tune and be like, for this fight, I have to be 10 yards away from everyone pretty much the entire fight. So using this, which is probably going to be slightly better than a flask, or a generic flask, is going to be good. And then on a fight where there's like a burst of movement required every minute, then this will be really, really good if you can stand still the rest of it. And overall, this is just looking pretty cool. Phials, this is a great system, and they said that there's going to be a huge variety of these. I can't wait to see the rest of them. This is also going to help alchemy a bit by just spreading people out across a wide variety of recipes, so I'm happy. Overall, I think this looks pretty good. I can't wait until they actually put some of this out in the alpha so we can see dive into the actual nitty-gritty details. But I'm hyped. Are you? Did you like anything or not? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching.